Hi, Michelle here with the Traveling Epicurean. This is my kitchen and today is a very special day because I'm going to share with you a secret recipe that's been in my family for generations. My mother taught me how to make these when I was young and now I'm going to share these with you today. I can't wait to show you how to make these manicottis. They will be the best manicottis you've ever tasted. Let's go get those ingredients. Start off with the manicotti shells. And we'll need flour, water, eggs, and our 5-inch cast iron pan, which we're going to make the shells in. And then we'll stuff them with this ricotta over here, and also some scamorza right here, which is a salted mozzarella. It gives great flavor to the manicottis. And then my giant can of whole peeled tomatoes, which is about 3 3/4 of the small ones to make this big one here. And we'll start off with some shredded carrots and onion and garlic. And I'm going to be sauteing some pork loin to start my sauce off. It gives great flavor to the sauce. It falls apart. It gets so nice and tender and delicious. I know you're probably figuring, why does she have that big piece of meat there? This was on sale for less than half off. I couldn't resist. It was only about $20 for this large piece of meat. So I'll slice it up. I'll be able to make pork cutlets, pulled pork, and I'll freeze the rest. And then I'll just take out a portion at a time whenever I need it. But these are going to make some wonderful manicottis. Wow, look how beautiful those 3 pieces of pork loin have gotten. I've been sauteing them for about 8 minutes. They're really nice and golden. I'm going to pull them out. And then I'm going to put in the carrots and the onion and start to saute those for the sauce. Look at the beautiful sauce. It's simmering there with the fresh basil and those pork loins that I sauteed. And that's been going for a couple of hours. It's that simple recipe, my tomato basil recipe, which I have you only cooking 20 minutes, but you could also cook it longer, as I'm doing here, because I like a little bit more full developed flavor for the manicottis. Here we go. We have our bowl, our flour. I already added the salt in there. I have my 1 cup of water. I have my 4 eggs and my bowl to crack the eggs in. We need to crack the eggs on the side because we're going to be whisking the flour and the water together. I mean, once you start to whisk that, you won't be able to see if you get a piece of shell in there. So I'm going to whisk this. I'm going to probably give it about 20 whisks. It's just really to incorporate the water, mixing the water and the flour. You don't want to develop any glutens here with the flour. So we're just getting it whisked till smooth, just like that. I'm going to crack an egg at a time. We're going to add this in, and then we're going to whisk that into the flour mixture. And so it's going to be like 5 or 6 whisks per egg. You want to do one at a time. You know, just think of this as making pancakes. It's the same concept. I'm really excited for you guys to learn how to make these wonderful manicottis, these homemade manicottis. They have the latent consistency of a crepe, yet they have that texture and the taste of pasta. Truly amazing. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Now we're going to take this over to the stove and we're going to start pouring into our cast iron pan. Let's get making these crepes. Remember, be patient. Don't worry about how the first few come out. And they're going to feel a little bit stuck at first. It's kind of like grilling. When you put something on the grill, it's stuck until it's ready to be flipped because the bottom has cooked through a little bit. It's going to be the same concept here. When you slide it, it'll start to move when it's ready. So let's get going. I know you can do this. And then we have our cast iron pan, which I put some olive oil in there, and then I'm just swirling around the pan like this to make sure all the edges and the sides get that olive oil. Then I'm going to have a dish right there. That dish I'm going to pour olive oil in, and then in between each pour of this ladle here, this is a 1/4 cup ladle, and I'm going to be putting it into our batter here. And then that's going to be poured into the pan. And then I have a cutting board here. I'm going to cover this with a little bit of flour. And as they come out of the pan, I'm going to put them on the floured board right here. Okay, so look, to test the pan, I'm going to put a little bit of water. See how it sizzles? And it's evaporating. Okay, so we know that it's ready. I have it on a 7. This is a 1/4 cup ladle. I don't fill it all the way. I would say that it's almost filled all the way, but it makes it too thick. So I'm going to pour in the pan just like that. My powder, I'm just going to swirl it just a little bit. And we're going to let that cook. Once I flip this manicotti shell, I do not even put it back on the stove. I just hold it. Watch. I'm going to flip it over just like that, and it's done. So now I'm just going to flip it right onto the flour, and then I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of flour just like that. I'll flip it over a couple times so it cools down a pinch. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that pretty? And then I'll just start to line them up going down the board. Okay, let's let that heat up a couple of seconds. Stir my batter. Remember, I don't want it full, a full 1/4 cup. A little less than that. I'd say that's probably about a good 1/4 inch less than a 1/4 cup. And you hear that little bit of a sizzle when I put it into the pan. And then I'm just going to roll the pan. I'm picking up the pan a little bit off the stove. Putting it back on the stove. You can see the steam coming up from that manicotti. I swirl it a little bit so it has time to cook. You don't want it to ever get golden anywhere. You don't want the edges to be golden, the bottom to be golden. You want it to stay pale, but cooked. I slide it to the side so I can grab it. And then I flip it over. I do not put it back on the stove. And then I'm just going to flip it over here onto the board. Put a little flour, flip it a couple times so it cools. Look how beautiful that is. That's absolutely gorgeous. Alright, I've gotten through almost all the batter. It's gonna make 15, usually makes 15 or 16. Oops, I need to put a little olive oil in there. Caught it just in time. It's really going down nicely. It takes all of 20 seconds. And then we're just gonna flip them out onto that board. A little flour. It's okay if they fall over and they're folded. Just unfold them. They're not going to stick. They're really wonderful. They're very resilient. Just beautiful. Okay, that was our last one. So now we have all of our beautiful crepes that we just made, our manicotti shells. It pours like a crepe, but the texture is different than a crepe. It's actually a pasta texture, not a crepe texture. There's definitely a difference there. But anyway, so we have our shells. We're going to fill them with our ricotta. I don't mix anything in with this ricotta. Very simple. I keep it right out of the container, even if I don't get my favorite Luizzi ricotta and I get, a supermarket. There are some decent supermarket ricottas there as well. And then my scamorts. It's a funny shaped little thing, isn't it? It has a little tough exterior. A lot of times I like to mix this up with maybe a wedge of whole milk mozzarella and a wedge of part skim. And I mix that with some shredded scamorts as well. And I think that's a really nice mixture between the three of them. You don't have to do all three of them, but that's, I like to change it up every now and then, and it comes out really nice. I have my pan here, and I'm just going to show you how I make sure that they're all going to fit. And look at this gorgeous pasta. It's very pliable, it's very durable, it's not going to rip, so don't worry. I'm just folding it over, there's nothing inside, but I want to make sure that it's going to fit in this pan. So I'm just going to fold it. They're just gorgeous. Can't wait for you to make these. Okay, look. See how it fits 2 across like that? You don't want them on top of each other. That would mean the pan is too small. These are going to expand when they cook. The pasta will expand a little bit. So I'll be able to fit 7 and 7. Absolutely beautiful. That's going to work out perfectly. Share, and then we'll lay the manicottis in the pan. And then we shake the pan around just like this. And then that gets a nice even coating. Just like that. Alright, so we're done grating the skimorts. Bella, did you enjoy the skimorts? Yay! Bella and Sarah, you having a good time watching?
Yeah!
Okay, so we'll go back to making the manicottis. We're going to roll these up now. All our crepes made. Bella, is that the correct way to say crepes? She came home from international night one night, and Mary, one of our Girl Scout moms, taught them all how to say crepes because she teaches French, and she taught them how to make crepes because France was our country, and she did a great job. Thank you, Mary. And Bella has guided me along the way to say crepes. Is it crepe?
Crepe. Crepe. Like crepe.
Well, I think you're saying it pretty fine now. Crepe. So I'm gonna put down the ricotta just along the center of the crepe. The crepe, right, Bella? Crepe. Okay, and so then we're gonna tuck this in and then just roll it. And then we have our beautiful manicotti, and I'm gonna lay that one next to the other one. And we're gonna leave a little bit of space in between each one. Okay, so we have our last manicotti here that we're gonna fill. And then we're gonna top it with sauce. I don't even top the manicottis with mozzarella because there's plenty of mozzarella inside. Okay, so I got the sauce in there. I'm going to shake it back and forth. Look, there's plenty of sauce here. This is pasta that we just made, so it's going to soak up the sauce. And then I'm just going to sprinkle some Parmesan. That's all it needs on the top. And that's it. I'm going to cover it with foil, and we're going to get this in the oven. Get the foil on here, and we're going to get this in the oven. It doesn't take very long, and when you take it out of the oven, you really want to let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. Not as long as you need to let a lasagna sit when it comes out of the oven because there's a lot more juices in a lasagna. This really only needs about 5 minutes and then it's perfect. So let's get this in the oven right now. Perfect. Oh my goodness, look how amazing this manicotti is. Oh, I cannot wait to cut into it. Oh, look at the cheese. Wow, that is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to have to take a bite of this. Oh, that's lovely. Really the most, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh. So incredibly good. They're light and fluffy. They're not heavy at all. These are the best manicottis I have ever had. Wow, what a super day. I am so happy that I was able to share this recipe with you. It's just truly amazing. I'm really happy. I'm so happy. Go and make these manicottis. It's a very special dish. You will be so happy that you learn how to make these. I'm telling you, everybody's going to be happy. You're happy, I'm happy, everybody's happy. The recipe is at thetravelingepicurean.com. Have a really great day. Ciao.